month in the Science of Mind and Centers for Spiritual Living, we've been talking about light within the shadows. And my title today is Reveal and Heal. And a few weeks ago, I talked about how the light and the dark coexist. It's very similar to, in Chinese philosophy, the yin-yang symbol, that there's darkness in the light and there's light in the darkness. And it's very interesting, as I was working on my talk, my title reversed itself by the end. So I thought, well, the title was about revealing your shadow so that you can heal. But by the end of all the research I did, it became, I am healed, so now I can reveal my true self. Well, they're the same thing. So whichever way we look at it, and I found that just fascinating. So having our shadow aspects revealed to us may not be a pleasant endeavor. That's why many of us only focus on the light side of our being. But the good news is that we can begin to notice our shadow side, those things that don't really serve us, and with conscious awareness and spiritual discernment, we find we will live more balanced, enriching lives. It is said that our souls work relentlessly toward healing. And I believe that is because our natural state is wholeness. That's our natural state. And let's remember that we can reveal that force within us, which is divine, and that is for us, encoded with our perfect process for healing. We've heard many times here, life is for me, nothing is against me. But do we really believe that? Sometimes it works. So I created an affirmation today. I am more than my story. I am here to heal and reveal a greater truth. So I invite you to repeat this after me. I am more than my story.
I am more than my story.
I am here to heal and reveal a greater truth.
I am here to heal and reveal a greater truth.
Was that convincing? Little doubt there? That's okay. Because nobody said spiritual growth is easy. We didn't grow up with a manual. I didn't. Maybe you did. And I don't know about you, but there's a couple things that I've noticed this past week is one of them was my natural instinct to avoid conflict. I just shut down. And this often leads to blowing things out of proportion. Can you relate? I see heads nodding. But if I take a breath and ask myself, what's this reaction from? Is it a past wounding I have? Because when we're triggered, the difference between responding in a healthy way or unhealthy way requires us to really take the time and do the work of getting to know ourselves, all parts of us, and then be able to discern if we're overreacting or over-responding. Our founder, Ernest Holmes, said, "We are to know that passing events cannot hinder the onward march of the soul. The temporal imperfection of the human cannot dim the eternal integrity of the divine." And we've all experienced emotional injuries, haven't we? Betrayal, rejection, humiliation, abandonment. And our shadow fear of blame and resentment and revenge don't serve us. But they're hidden keys to self-discovery that are things such as compassion, gratitude, counting our blessings, being in wonder. It reminds me of a time a few years ago. We lived up in Weimar, and I was really wrestling with something in my life. And I got up really early, and I went out on our deck, and it was dark. There were some stars in the sky, but there was no moon, and it was cold and still. And I remember sitting on the deck and just breathing, and opening to a solution for this heavy thing I was carrying. And I remember looking up and just noticing like the darkness. And yet I knew 100% in my heart that that sun was going to rise in a few minutes. There was no doubt. I trusted that a new dawn was going to show up. And when I got that thought, whatever was heavy on me just started to dissolve and lessen. It loosened its grip on me. Because even though I couldn't see any sign of the sun, I knew it was going to come up. So I was able to claim that level of divine trust in my life. And it shifted everything. How about you? So no matter how dark a moment may be in our life, there is a new morning on the way. There truly is, if you believe it. So just think about that sun always rising. I love what our founder, Ernest Holmes, had to say, similar to this. This is in Teachings from the Bible. And it's from Ephesians. Be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. To be strong in the Lord is to be sure of ourselves, because we are sure of the principle of life, which manifests itself through us. We wrestle not against outward things, but against inward ideas and old beliefs. The power of darkness is the power of false belief. Period. If we can change our inner concept, our whole life will be changed.
Amen.
Amen is right. And that's that going within, right? Have you ever heard of glimmers? Well, they're the opposite of triggers. A concept that most of us know about because we can be triggered by so many things. Or maybe you don't. No, I know you don't get triggered. But everywhere we turn today, there's just interesting bad news after worse news, if you catch on to that. And an avalanche of information that can be really hard to deal with. And glimmers was coined by a licensed clinical social worker. And it can be more challenging to spot, but they're equally as important to notice. And a glimmer refers to a small moment in our lives when our biology is in a place of connection and or regulation. Basically when we're centered, I think. Which then helps our nervous system to feel safe and calm. To feel centered, no matter the storm going on around us. And so she said, we're not talking about great experiences of joy here. Rather, these are micro moments that begin to shape our system in very gentle ways. Just noticing, just a few minutes a day of being in gratitude, counting our blessings, saying thank you, taking a deep breath, smiling, all can begin to change our lives in really small ways and heal those triggers. I am safe. I'm okay in this moment. My life is blessed. There's a funny story I heard on the radio a long time ago, and I don't remember the author's name. I apologize, but I'm just going to tell the story the way I remember it. He wrote a book about happiness, and in that book, he had some tools and techniques about how to shift from the negative and complaining into being more in a happy state. So this fellow went down, he lived in New York, he went down to Florida to visit his elderly mom. And they're from a Jewish tradition. And so the mom, the Jewish mom, was always kvetching. She was, oh my goodness, the chicken's too cold, or the water's too hot, or why are you sitting over there, and oy vey. Always, always, always. And so the dear son said to his mother, hey, I got this technique, I'm writing this book, and I'm going to help you practice it. Every time you complain or comment about something that's not right or this or that, you're going to pause and say, and my life is blessed. Oh, yeah, right. Okay, I'll do it. Well, so for about a week as he was visiting, every time, which was a lot, she would say something. He'd just pause and say, Mom, and my life is blessed. Oh, yeah, and my life is blessed. So they did that. They practiced it and practiced it and practiced it. So he ended up going back to New York where he lived, and a few weeks later, his sister called him. And she said, what did you do to Mother? She is like blessing everything. She seems happy, calm, and my life is blessed. I invite you, I've been working with this for quite a few years, and I have to say it has shifted so many things. I mean, even simple things. When we go into a grocery store, it starts in our mind to complain that we have to stand in line. When there are people that can't even afford to buy food and stand in the line, and my life is blessed. I'm in a traffic jam. I have a car. My life is blessed. It really has a big shift on our consciousness because we're planting a different seed, right? So I invite you to play with that. Because repairing our emotional trauma, our triggers, is soul work and consciousness. And it will bring us strength and resiliency the more we do it. And when we do that, you know, it's building our relationship with our true self. And when we count our blessings, when we raise and praise, we then enhance our divine self, our higher self. It opens the door to possibilities. So let's take a moment, and I invite you to just turn within again. And take a deep cleansing breath. And center yourself. And contemplate for a moment with kindness on a place where you feel divided in your life or in conflict. And just notice it. Take a big exhale. And then inhale deeply and bring the sacred air to this tender place. And as you breathe, allow divine love and understanding to infuse where you feel divided. Your wound or your pain. And simply let loving understanding infuse you with the energy of a new beginning, a new idea, a new thought. Allow. Receive. Let your breathing ease any tension. Allow. And say silently to yourself, right now I'm safe. I'm okay. I'm loved. And now open to the truth of your being. Bless you. And take a deeper breath and open your eyes. That's a glimmer. That's just bringing that little light in. So let's affirm again. Repeat after me. I am more than my story.
I am more than my story.
I am here to heal and reveal my greater truth.
I am here to heal and reveal my greater truth.
So many of us here engage in spiritual practices regularly, meditation, journaling, sacred study, or prayer. And if you don't do it regularly, I invite you to think about starting it. Because these practices are not only essential to the maintenance of our souls, but they deepen our relationship to the God of our understanding. And just as important, spirituality also involves being aware of our darker side, as I mentioned. So we do the inner work, and we learn to accept those parts of us that we don't really like, or we want to hide, or we're embarrassed about. Do you ever have any of those little parts? No, not you. Because healing takes time, determination, and a willingness to be vulnerable, to be open. And as I mentioned before in a talk, that some people use their spirituality to avoid or dismiss uncomfortable events when they occur. And what's this called?
Spiritual bypass.
Yes, good students, spiritual bypass. Right. But when we have the courage to do our shadow work, we invite that light to reveal and to heal. Walt Whitman wrote, "There is more to us than what lies between our hat and our boots." There's more to us. So when we realize this, there's something greater in me, we fall into wonder when life shows up. And then we can infuse that with the energy to stay the course. And we may notice that our relationship to challenges and upsets shift from fear and upset to curiosity. Wow, we can ask ourselves, interesting. Not, why is this happening again? Rather, what is the hidden meaning of this? Is there something that's a gift here for me? What can I do to feel better? How can I think of this in a way that will allow me to open to a greater good? Again, just by asking those higher level questions can open us up to a new possibility. Because, hear this, our darkness is not bad. It's merely a part of us that has not yet been illuminated. I'm going to say that again. Our darkness is not bad. It is merely a part of us that has not yet been illuminated. So our spiritual adventure is about removing the blocks of false identity and uncovering and revealing that treasure within each of you, that light that is never dimmed. So my encouragement for you today is this. The next time you're upset, uncomfortable, or triggered by something, don't look the other way. You hear that? Don't look the other way. Take a breath with it. Be curious about it. What's this about? Lovingly examine the underlying wound and open to the great reveal. Get support from a practitioner, your life coach. In this way, we heal and open to that greater light and wisdom. I am more than my story. I am here to heal and reveal my greater truth. Let's say it one more time. I am more than my story. I am here to heal and reveal my greater truth. Did you convince yourself a little more?
Yes.
Can we say it again with a little more like convince me? I am more than my story. I am here to heal and reveal my greater truth. Yes, yes, yes. Give yourself a high five. Walt Whitman also said, keep your face always toward the sunshine and the shadows will fall behind you. And that sunshine is our divine self. That's our innate power. It's always there. That light is never dimmed, even though we think it is. So I just say, let us have faith in the greater yet to be. Are you with me on that?
Yes.
So as I said earlier, as one door closes, another opens, but it can be hell in the hallway. And this community is in the hallway, but we're not in hell. We're in an open place of learning and possibilities as we go to knock on that new door. And so let us take that into prayer now. Just recognizing in this holy sacred moment of now the beautiful essence of the one power, one presence, one infinite loving source of all good. this omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent essence, God, Spirit, Source, the divine, the God of your understanding. We simply rest in this magnificent energy that is eternal, loving, peaceful, ever-giving, all-knowing. And as His presence is in through everything and everyone, I absolutely know that each of us is a beautiful instrument in this divine symphony of life, playing our tune exactly as we need. And so I bless each of us today as we are open and willing to be in gratitude for all the good in our lives, for the everywhere present activity of God, that we praise and raise, that we bless our lives. Be in gratitude. And when we are, life opens up and something wonderful happens. So I'm knowing and claiming that we pay attention to our complaints, our judgments, and be willing and able to let go and let God. Let God step in. Let the divine step in. Let love step in. Because love is the healing balm right now. So I'm knowing that there is a healing going on right now because we're revealing the truth. Reveal and heal. Heal and reveal. We're revealing that God essence within us right now, shining our light on the greater good. And so I'm knowing and claiming a beautiful transmission, transmutation in our consciousness for the healing of our mental body, physical body, emotional body, coming into alignment with that divine essence and love. How good it is to know this truth. And so with such joy in my heart, I simply release my word. I release it into the creative soil of the divine mind, knowing a great seed has been planted today. And we nurture it with our loving thoughts. And we just let it be. And join me in affirming this truth by saying,